Hello, this is MC Cassie B, and you're listening to the Whatever It Takes podcast. This is the first episode, and in this episode, we're going to do mostly introductions and what I would like this podcast to be. In my life, I am focusing mostly on improving my mental health and slowly allowing myself to achieve goals that I've wanted to achieve, which involves this podcast. This is something I've wanted to do, well, maybe not a podcast, but talking to people and communicating is something I've always wanted to do. It's something I've always wanted to try to make part of my life. I really like talking to people, and I really enjoy listening to what people have to say. I think it's really important to get out of your comfort zone and try new things and really be able to enjoy yourself. Right now, this is a challenge for me because it's something new, something I haven't done before. It's really hard to do something new, especially if it's something that you kept saying you wanted to do, but you put it off for a very long time. In that case, this is something I've been meaning to do for a while. So, to start this off, I will tell you a little bit about myself and where I am in my life and my journey right now. I used to not think that life was, like supernatural, I don't know what I mean by that. I used to think life was very, very, I guess you would say, like, straightforward. You have to work, you have to get a job, you have to do all these things, and that's a lot of stress. I didn't see life as really being, I've always believed anything is possible, but sometimes when you've been having a bad time for a long time, it can feel like life is just one way. There's no twists and turns. It's just going to be, I'm going to work for 50 years, 50, 60 years, and then I'm going to retire. I'm never going to do the things I've wanted to do in life, and I'm never going to, get those moments when you enjoy life, especially when life has beaten you down a lot. You always wonder, I guess it's kind of like, this is my life. It wasn't supposed to be like this. It wasn't supposed to be, this hard when you're a child. You look at life and you look at everything around you and media and the people around you, and you feel more like the star of your life, the main character, and especially if you're not around a lot of people, you can have that, idolized view on life, and you're not really living in reality. But it's hard when you start to realize that life, I don't know, you always knew life was hard, but sometimes you are, what is the word? It's, I don't know. Yeah. You always knew your life was hard, but you didn't know it was harder than other people's life. That is hard. You are, what is the word? Disillusioned you're disillusioned by how different your life is from other people. But there's people who are living your life too. There's people who undergo the same things that cause, maybe your mental health to be worse than other people's. And, I don't know. We are all on our own. We can never, it's good in life to keep, just your life, to kind of focus on living your life, because you can't really live other people's life. So it's good to know that because other people are winning doesn't mean you're losing. And when you're having good times, it doesn't mean other people have to have bad times. There's just so much in life, and there's so much to talk about. I will talk about myself a little now. My name is Cassie B, and I'm a little bit older than people who are like the typical age of people who would be going to college. College is something I haven't started yet. I don't really know what I want to do, but it's something that is on my radar. It's something that I'm really thinking about pursuing, and it's sometimes hard when you don't have help with those things. Like most of the things that you want to pursue in life, they have to, because of circumstances, they're solely, if you want it, you have to go get it yourself. You have to fight for it. You have to work hard, really, really hard. And in the end, that will benefit you a lot. But in the moment, it's so stressful. There's so many things that I am working towards now, and working towards, things like getting a license and getting mental health, what is it called? Help for my mental health, like therapy and the things that will help you in the long run. Because if you don't take care of the problems you're having in the now, then, there might not be an opportunity to in the future. It might. Yeah, it's most important to care about your physical and mental health first. And that's kind of something I'd like to talk about. I don't know. I'm not an expert on anything, but I understand, how I feel. And I understand that a lot of people feel like there's no one who will help them because they've asked for help, and people don't take that seriously. And a lot of people will help you, but there will be times in your life where it won't feel like you're able to get help. You're really, really, really trying. You understand how serious it is if you don't get help. So, yeah, I don't really know what I want to do. This is a process. I hope to do many of these podcasts and to really learn about myself and what I want to talk about and what I want to do in life and what I want to learn, because learning is the best thing. Sometimes people will have, you know, a hard time learning and learning disabilities and things that make it extremely hard to want to dive into learning. And learning is a form of growth, but it is very hard because learning is also a lot of failure. If you're uncomfortable failing, then you're going to have a really hard time learning anything because, oh my gosh, that's the biggest thing. You have to fail and fail and fail. You want to do it right, you're just going to do it once or twice because the failing comes quickly. And I really, really want to be able to do a lot. I want to grow a lot. Sometimes it feels like we're going to be in the same place forever in our lives. It feels like, 70 years from now, I'm going to be sitting here doing the same old thing. There's no growth. I've never learned anything new. But that's not true, because you learn so much in even 1 year, a few months, that it really is crazy. But at times, when you're not at your best, life can feel so slow. It can feel like I'm not doing anything of importance. I'm not doing anything to push my life forward, because it's kind of like that. It feels like you have to, if you want to be happy, well, maybe not happy, everyone's different, but if you want to, feel like you're growing and doing things, you have to grow by doing things. There's a lot of growth in taking your time and breathing and meditating and, doing the things that you can do by yourself. But there's something so special about being with other people and laughing and having a good time, but also like knowing your boundaries and respecting that and respecting other people and what they need, and being able to sometimes give people what they need or listen. There's so much you can get from another person, and that's something I'm trying to bring into my life. There's been long periods of time in my life where I haven't been able to see other people, and I haven't been able to really make those long-lasting friendships. I have some really good friends, but in my childhood, I didn't really get to be around other children very often and meet people who have common interests. That's something. A friend doesn't have to share the same likes as you, but when they do, it gives you a lot to really think about and enjoy. I think it's so great to have a good friend, but that also means that it can't just be give. It can't just be you, always calling out to them, and sometimes they answer and sometimes they don't. It has to, a really healthy friendship, I think, is when both parties, acknowledge that they want to be friends and they really care about each other. They really want to. Sometimes it's them asking you if you want to go out, and sometimes it's you asking them. I've had a lot of friendships where it felt like I was always the one to ask, and that's okay. Sometimes you still want to see these people and you care, and you never know what people are going through. And it's okay if, friendships don't always pan out. Sometimes especially now when I'm studying and working towards my goals, there's a fullness and feeling like, oh, I haven't been lonely in a long time. I'm working towards something that I really want. And it feels extremely good not to feel lonely and to feel like, there's something missing. Sometimes I do feel like that still. But I think it's really important to know that in periods of your life, there will be a lot of people. And in periods of your life, there won't be. It's so good to, talk to people. It's so nice to talk to you right now. I hope you're able to have a relaxing day and to breathe. That's something I've been doing a lot of lately, breathing. It used to be so hard. People would say, I don't know who would say this, but there's like a saying or something that's like, I don't know, people just say breathing is really good for you. It sounds like I don't breathe. I breathe all the time. I mean, just like in a meditation sense, like to calm down. It's really, really great. Because I used to have trouble. Sometimes it doesn't feel like when you're breathing for like yoga or in a meditation sense that it comes naturally. It feels kind of forced. But recently I catch myself breathing naturally, and it really starts to calm me down, and it's really yeah. When you learn something, you learn to do something. Often it will take a long time to feel like you're doing it properly. So that's something I've learned lately, that often you're not going to get it on your first try. You're not going to get it very easily at all, especially things that have to do with, I don't know, like yoga moves or dance moves or things like this. It doesn't feel natural until it does. I don't know. Well, I think the next time I do this podcast, I think I want to find questions, or, if anybody ever watches this, be asked questions about, I don't know, about myself. I don't know. Questions about myself. What other type of questions are there? Like, not really directed towards me, but just questions in general, and maybe I can answer them, and maybe I can't. I don't know. I'm really enjoying this. Honestly, this is something I've wanted to do. Not really a podcast, but something interacting with other people. Like, I guess like a YouTube videos and such like that for if not 20 years, 15 years, something like that. It sounds like an exaggeration, but it really isn't. And just the idea of this podcast was probably, I don't know how long I've been putting this off. I have trouble with some things, especially things that give me anxiety. Things aren't as hard as you think they are until you do them. But if you have, I don't know, something that's in your way, some reason you can't, feel like you can't do it or get it done, it's really extremely difficult. Yeah, I really want to try to broaden my horizons, continue to think of things I can do to grow as a person. I think that's really important. Just really healthy growth. It makes you feel really good, like you're doing something. And sometimes when you're growing, you feel like you're doing nothing. You feel like you're trapped. But from what I've noticed in my life, sometimes after the worst time, you will have grown a lot because you've had to experience a lot. I think, yeah, I don't know. I've been saying I want to grow a lot, but there's other things too. It's not all about how much you grow, and it's not about how much you struggle to get there. I think there has to be a balance, because if you're not enjoying if you're not enjoying the ride, if you're not enjoying the years it takes to get to where you want to be, then you're really not living your life. You're struggling through it. And sometimes we have to struggle through it to get to the other side. But I really want to enjoy this time. I really want to be able to laugh with other people and, just enjoy it, because we freak ourselves out. We really, well, at least I do. I really worry a lot. And a lot of it is justifiable. I had a very not normal childhood, I'd say. And from that, I carried a lot of trauma and a lot of anxiety. I can't remember a time where I wasn't anxious. I can only think of a few days where, where I've been totally calm and able to really, I don't know. I enjoy life a lot. But it's also a process, learning how to cope with things that have occurred. And, maybe at the time when things happen, I didn't, I didn't react to them maybe how I should have. And then that caused cause me to feel the feelings about that thing a long time after. So it's about, learning to process everything. And I really think I'm doing a great job in my life. I think there's a lot that I struggle with, and there's a lot that a lot of people are struggling with. It's been, but I do want to do this again. I really want to talk to people and maybe even try to see if people will talk back to me. Don't be fresh. Don't talk back to me. But yeah, it would be great if this, you can feel like you're talking to people, if people will, what is the word? People will become active so that we can kind of feel like we're having a conversation on this solo podcast. Yeah, it's really great because when I'm doing this, I feel like I can really, kind of be myself. There's something that hurts me in my life is I'm not really able to be myself often. Because a lot of the time I feel like being yourself, it also, when you're around other people, that allows you to really figure out who you are and how you would react to things happening, and kind of helps you to pinpoint your morals a little bit. And when you're not around anyone, it's hard to know. It's hard to feel grounded in who you are. So I really want to see if I can find some other people. And this is going to be great. I think I'm doing a good job. And sometimes that's what you have to tell yourself. There has to be more love in your life than hate. And sometimes it's only going to come from yourself. So you really have to love yourself. You have to continue to try to, be the person in your life who has the utmost faith in yourself. But always know that you're not alone. That's one of the great things about life. You may feel alone, but you're never alone. Because there's someone who cares for you so much out there. And and they love you so much. And even if you don't have that person in your life right now, there'll be people you meet as you grow that will show you that you are loved. But sometimes we can only start with ourselves. We can only tell ourselves that I love you. I love you. Cassie, I love you, Cassie. You're so cool. And as it gets almost close to time to say goodbye, I have an outro to do. And it involves a little bit of yelling. Because this is the Whatever It Takes podcast, we will do whatever it takes to have a happy life. Whatever we can do for ourselves to be at peace. So, forgive me if this outro isn't great at the start. It's a work in progress, and I'm gonna get ready to yell. So, you've been warned. Whatever it takes.